Good evening, class. My name is Jacqueline Nunez, and today I'd like to talk to you about one of my favorite seasons or holidays throughout the year, Halloween. Who doesn't love Halloween? Do you remember being younger and just loving to dress up? Do you remember when you used to trick-or-treat? How about running down the street with your friends and getting tangled up in those spider webs that the neighbors would decorate with? How about those jack-o'-lanterns or those scary pumpkins? Halloween is one of those seasons I just love, but like most of you, I think I got tired of the whole dressing up around, I'd say my teenage years, where it wasn't so scary to just go around the block collecting candy. I like to think that Halloween is just one of those spooky seasons where you just have to have a little bit of fright in your night. Today I want to talk to you guys about Halloween Horror Nights. Halloween Horror Nights is actually an event that takes place not too far from where we are here in Miami, Florida. It's actually Universal Studios Orlando. In Orlando, Florida, we have theme parks, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. These two parks are generally theme parks where families love to go, enjoy, ride plenty rides, eat those great turkey legs, corn on the cobs, and cotton candy. But at night during the Halloween season, during September through October 31st, they turn into a spooky evening. Halloween Horror Nights is held every year in Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, and Universal Singapore. This event generally is where they close down the park around 6 to 7 p.m. or when the sun sets, and they turn up the spooky. Fog lights come out, the scare actors come out, vampires, scarecrows, creepy little old ladies, and chainsaws. Halloween Horror Nights began as Fright Nights in 1991. In 1991, Universal Studios Orlando opened its first Fright Night. It had just one haunted house. The general admission was only $19 to get in for the evening. The scare actors had to provide their own costumes, makeup, and sometimes even props. Who would believe it? Those scare actors that we know and love now once had to provide their own stuff. Fright Nights was then 1 year later renamed to Halloween Horror Nights. Halloween Horror Nights is basically where they set up tons of haunted houses. It began with one haunted house. Now we see anywhere from 7 to 8 haunted houses depending on the theme. We also see scare zones, which are basically small areas throughout the park or walkways throughout the park where people have to walk to in order to access another location. In these scare zones, you'll find a chainsaw-wielding man running after you if you just seem to be just a tad bit scared. I've learned from my own experience. If you stand and pretend you're not scared of them, they'll just leave you alone. You also have mutants, you'll have vampires, you'll even have men on stilts that you don't even know what they are, but they're just definitely scary. In the haunted houses, we'll find corpses, we'll find people hiding in corners, glow-in-the-dark masks, skeletons, and men with chainsaws killing people. Pretty scary stuff. Halloween Horror Nights has themes every year. Typically they're taken from movies that are filmed through Universal Studios, and they're scary movies, Freddy vs. Jason. This year's theme will be Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. I personally am not too familiar with that theme, but I'm sure it'll be great just as it is every year. We've seen documents on websites that have Universal Studios has put in for the permits already. They've already begun construction to set up for 8 haunted houses this year. This year the event will run from September 21st through October 31st. The general admission will be $88.99. Select rides will be open during the event. During the day, all the rides are open, but in the evening, they try and keep it down to the most popular rides, just so that, people also have time to go into the, so that they also have time to go into the houses. Typically, the haunted house lines could range anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, but they also provide express passes. With those express passes, you can bypass those lines. Typically, those are a little long as well, but your wait in an express line is probably about 30 minutes as opposed to those 2 hours you'll be waiting. So Wait for those haunted houses. You wait in those lines. You'll have the time of your life. I guarantee it. This year, don't miss out on Halloween Horror Nights 8 Haunted Houses. Thank you guys. I'd like to thank my audience, Francis and Dwayne. Have a good evening, class.